Hey guys, so I've been meaning to come on here and talk about this case of the demonic, depraved, white supremacist man that urinated on a 5-year-old black girl who was playing hide and go seek. And the reason I haven't gotten to this was because, number one, I was doing other videos and other things. And then also, I start to wonder what's the point of even letting people know about these cases when we all know Black people are not going to do anything about it. And I'm more convinced of that every time, especially after being on that panel video last night where the display of self-hate was just nearly too much for my mind to comprehend. The reality is that there are very few Black men who will respond to this appropriately. And I do believe that it is the responsibility of the man in any community, not just Black men. If we were dealing with the Latino community, I think it's on the Latino man. If we're dealing with the Asian community, I think it's on the Asian man. Bottom line is on the man of any community to protect the women and children from predators and from people who are seeking to harm the community. By and large, Black men are not doing that. Now, I won't say that there aren't some Black men who are willing, to protect the women and children around them, because there are some, and that would be factually incorrect and it would be intellectually dishonest. There are some Black men who are doing it. Is it the majority of Black men? Absolutely not. It's just not. The reality of it is the majority of Black men are definitely afraid of white men. And that doesn't mean that you're afraid of them on an individual level, although some of them are definitely afraid of white men on an individual level. And I know that's the case because I've seen videos with them displaying extreme cowardice, but specifically in terms of systemic racism and white supremacy, like white men have put the fear of God in Black men. That's just the reality. Because whether they say they're afraid to go to jail, whether they say they're afraid they're going to kill them, although they're doing it to you now, the bottom line of it is you still fear this white man, and you fear the white man more than you fear whatever God that you believe is going to come down here and liberate you from white people. And I don't know why any God would do that, considering you don't want to be liberated from white people. But that's just the reality of it. Okay, we're in a society where most of our men, certainly not all of them, but most of them are extreme cowards. And I know because this video is on Patreon, I know that the Black men who are viewing this video, 9 times out of 10, they're not the type of men who would be cowardly. And I know that they're probably the ones who are ready and waiting for liberation. Unfortunately, if those Black men choose to stand up, they are not only going to be confronted by white supremacist terror, but they're going to be confronted by these coons who want white supremacy to stay because they want to feel tokenized. They want to feel like they're getting a pat on the head from what they call white zaddy. So they're not going to do anything. The fact of the matter is this man wouldn't have been emboldened to pee on this 5-year-old girl if Black men would have did something to the white supremacists who snatched that little boy off of the school bus with the intent to murder him. You guys may think that they don't watch social media and mainstream news, but they probably watch social media and mainstream news to find out how cowardly the men in our community are, more so than we do. That's just the reality. And to think that they don't pay attention to what we do and these videos where they're just doling out forgiveness, or to think that they don't troll social media accounts and see Black men sitting up here condoning cowardice, it's just ridiculous. Because again, they don't see you as they don't see Black men as individuals. They see them as a part of a collective group. So anytime they see videos with 1 or 2, and unfortunately there's a whole host of videos where you have a number of different Black men just not standing around just watching women, children, other Black men get brutalized, that plays a role. It plays a role in whether or not these incidents happen, because I'll tell you, they didn't go pee on an Asian girl. They didn't go pee on a little Asian girl. They didn't go pee on a little Hispanic girl. They peed on a little Black girl and called her a nigger. And they're doing it for no other reason than the fact that they can, because there's no consequences from black men and there's no consequences from the government. And I can assure you, black men can think whatever they want to. They can think that the women are supposed to protect the communities. But the reality of it is a white man isn't going to let a black man piss on any little girl that is white. And they don't care what system they live in. They're not going to let you do that, because they may brutalize their women. They may molest and sexually assault and brutalize their children, but they're not going to let you do it. They're not going to allow you to do it. That's just the reality of what it is. And they can sit here in this delusion and somehow think that blaming the woman and passing the responsibility onto the woman, or even going and jumping on white women so they can evade responsibility, they can think that's going to do something beneficial for them, but it's not. And you know, the thing of it is people act delusional all the time. All day, every day, they engage in delusional beliefs. They think what they want to, and they reap the consequences of it. But I want to get to this video so we can see what this story is, and then I'll come back for some commentary. Again, I haven't seen this video. I'm just now seeing it, and I'm just now going over it. But the thing of it is it's just going to be the same thing, different day. And really, that's
all around disturbing here. Police say they arrested this man, about 60 years old, after a 5-year-old girl went back to her friend's home covered in urine, saying this man called her the N-word. It all happened around 6 Monday evening at this parking lot you're seeing in an alley behind the West Leonard Library in Grand Rapids. 5-year-old girl who's black was playing with her neighbors, 2 7-year-old and another 5-year-old boy. Children weren't hurt, but they walked home after, and we spoke with the mother of the girl's friends, who said she was very upset. She was drenched, unable at first to say what happened to her. The girl's father spoke to me off camera today, saying he and his wife are furious. Of course, they're also disturbed.
She came in the house and she was wet, like soaking wet. And then I'm asking her what happened, but she was like kind of afraid to tell me because she thought she was going to get in trouble. And then I called in my boys, and I knew they were going to tell me. And then they were like, the guy, you know, basically said stupid and the N-word, and he just started peeing on her.
And I did speak with police who say the Child Advocacy Center here in the county is still interviewing the children, and they'll be offered free counseling if they'd like that. The prosecutor says he does not have the case yet. He's aware. The police believe the man will be charged tomorrow. In the newsroom, Dana Chickless, Fox 17 News. All right, Dana.
Now, this is another video.
Right now. Well, first to five, a man accused of urinating on a young girl and then calling her a racial slur has a history, it appears, of sexual assault charges.
And tonight we're hearing from neighbors who say the man has also tried to lure children into his home in the past. Our Dana Chickless is live in the newsroom with more on that disturbing information. Dana.
Well, this morning, the NAACP identified the suspect here as 60-year-old David Dean. He's still awaiting charges on that incident, but a neighbor tells me Dean offered cash to his 9-year-old daughter about 2 years ago if she would go inside his apartment.
She was so scared to go in the house. That's what really kind of made me upset, because, you know, a child shouldn't have to be scared to go into any type of building that they live in.
Matt Parker says his now 11-year-old daughter is afraid to go home at this apartment building on Grand Rapids West Side because of this man, 60-year-old convicted repeat sex offender David Dean, who lives across the hall.
She promptly told me the situation, that my daughter and her friend were walking home. Going into the apartment, he had offered them money to come into the apartment.
Parker says Dean not only tried to offer his then 9-year-old daughter cash to come inside, but hangs around local bus stops and talks with neighborhood kids. His lengthy criminal record also comes with court documents citing schizophrenia, 60-day inpatient care back in January 2017, and doctors writing Dean was, quote, delusional and sexually preoccupied, that he was in love with a young woman despite her telling him no, and that he likes women under 20. Now Dean is behind bars awaiting charges after the NAACP says he urinated on a 5-year-old girl down the street, then calling her a racial slur.
And he deserves due process of the law. And if he is convicted, we need to make sure that he's convicted to the fullest extent of the law, because this is horrific. It's horrible. 5-year-old baby, basically, that has been exposed to this, and that will significantly impact her forever.
Parker says his family called Grand Rapids police, but an officer told them ultimately there's not much they could do unless Dean hurt the neighbor kids. He feels more needs to be done.
This is like, we could have prevented this a long time ago. And it's like they didn't want to help us at all with the matter.
Now, Grand Rapids police say they handled this likely racially motivated urination incident quickly. They're still investigating it. I did speak with the Kent County prosecutor today. He says he does not know when Dean will be charged for this incident. We'll, of course, keep you updated. In the newsroom, Dana Chiklis, Fox 17 News.
Yeah, this is just disturbing is all it
And
is.
the more we learn about it, the worse it gets.
Yeah,
Dana, thank you.
Now, let me just tell you this. First of all, I think it's quite interesting, a number of different things that you see the parents saying that they're outraged, but you don't really see them on any news outlet speaking out about the grave racism this is. And probably because if I was anybody on the news, I would question, sir, ma'am, why are you allowing your 5 and 7-year-old children to play unattended in a back alley as if you don't live in a system of white supremacy where there are white racist citizens and race soldiers looking at your children as prey? This is why I say Black people appear to have a learning disability and just don't know how to adapt to anything. And that doesn't make sense to me. You live in a system of white supremacy. You've seen numerous times where Black men, women, and children get targeted by not just race soldiers, but by citizens with no consequence. But you think it's safe anywhere in this country to allow your 5 and 7-year-olds to go play in a back alley unattended. Wherever you see a case like this, you can trace it down to some stupidity that Black parents are engaging in. And this is because, again, Black people are navigating through this society delusional, thinking that they live in a society where their children are safe, where their children can just go play and they're not being hunted. Y'all know that these people are cowards. You know that they don't care whether it's a child, adult, adolescents, dog, cat, whatever. These are sexual deviants and depraved demonic entities, yet you have Black people still allowing their children to go play around unattended. Tamir Rice was out somewhere playing unattended. That little boy who was snatched off the school bus was walking home alone unattended. There should have been a parent meeting him at the bus stop. How likely is it that if that boy that was snatched off the bus had a parent attending him, that he would have been snatched up by some white supremacists? How likely is it that this 5-year-old Black girl that was playing in an alley that she shouldn't have been in, unattended, how likely is it that this cowardly, old, decrepit, struggle gene, sexual predator, white supremacist devil would have been pissing on her and calling her names, specifically if her father was there making his presence known? See, the thing of it is people sit up here, and I've been one of them, but specifically Black men, they'll say, oh, well, Black women put the men out of the house, so that's why they're not able to be effective fathers. Well, this man is a father, and he wasn't anywhere defending his child or raising her or protecting her. He allowed her to be playing in a back alley, just like her mother did. So it doesn't matter if you have a passive, delusional father, you might as well have no father there. Because parents, fathers, and mothers are neglecting and failing to teach their children about the system of white supremacy that they live in. It's understandable that you want your children to be able to play. Okay, that's fine. You don't live in a system that's conducive to that. You're in a war zone, and you have Black people allowing their children. First of all, even if you're going to let your child play unattended, why are they playing in a back alley? Who allows their child to go play in back alleys unattended? Then you have the prosecuting attorney saying, oh, well, it may be sexually motivated, but we don't know. The reality of it is they're not going to charge this disgusting, decrepit 60-year-old devil. When I tell you guys, younger, old, male or female, foreign or domestic, this degeneracy doesn't change. From cradle to grave, this is who they are. Black people refuse to acknowledge this. So I put this on Black people more than anything. And I put it on Black people because at this point, you know what system you're living in. You have to make a choice to choose to raise your children based on your fantasy and not reality. Because there is no reason why every Black parent should not be teaching their children about the system of white supremacy that they live in. You don't live in a society where you're not being hunted by race soldiers. That's not the situation that you live in. So why teach your children and neglect to tell them about that? The thing of it is if society is going to change, we have to change, because they're certainly not going to. And that's a problem. And then look how cowardly it is. It says the girl was playing hide and go seek with her friends at the time, mind you, who were 7. Okay, so you have a 5-year-old and 2 7-year-olds. So they don't know anything. They shouldn't even be playing hide and go seek in some back alley. And was behind a bush when the man identified as 60-year-old David Allen Dean sneaked up behind her, according to WWMT. Well, what if he decided to snatch her from somewhere, not piss on her, although that's degenerate enough, but what if he decided to snatch her up, take her somewhere, rape her, and murder her? It would have been easy for him to do that, because he was able to get near her, because, again, she's in the back alley playing. God only knows where her 2 parents are. She shouldn't be anywhere at 5. Playing, I don't care how many 7-year-olds is that. 5 and 7-year-olds are not able to protect themselves. They should not be playing in a back alley on their own. But it said he snuck up behind her. The alleged incident happened in an alley behind the 1000 block of Leonard Street and Tamarack Avenue. Every time I read this part about this alley, I'm getting pissed. I'm almost through the roof, actually. The girl's friends, a 5-year-old and 2 7-year-olds, confronted her account, police said, confirmed her account. Why are the police even talking to the 5-year-old children? Katrina Rapier, the mother of the 3 children who were playing with the girl, said all 4 children ran back to her home after the incident to tell her what happened. Now, we can look at her account of it if we want to, but this is really irking me. Because, again, black people...
Like soaking wet. And then I'm asking her what happened, but she was like kind of afraid to tell me because she thought she was going to get in trouble. And then
okay, we already heard that. That's nothing new. Like, black people need to articulate themselves better too. But the thing of it is again, this is on the parent. And understand, I can nearly guarantee you with 100% certainty, nothing is going to happen to this white supremacist male. And then you had some people tweeting out talking about, oh, the white supremacist identity, he's been protected and they're hiding him. Hiding them from whom? Black men are not going to do anything. There's no threat of retribution from black men, so they don't need to protect this man. They've already identified him. What are black men going to do? They already know there's no repercussion, so they don't need to. Like, really, it's like you have them sitting around thinking that you literally have this narrative from some of these delusional black conscious men sitting here acting like there's really a history of black men doing something in response to white supremacist men terrorizing their women and children, and there really isn't. So there's no reason for them. Protect them from what? Like, it makes no sense. But you guys let me know what you think about this story. Thank you for your support, and I'll see you in the next video.